Hello, everybody. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Howie Heckman, one of the developers here at PTS. Today, I have the privilege of showing you guys and introducing the new TracerPlus 9.1 version of our TracerPlus suite of software. So I'll be talking a little bit about the new features as well as our new version of TracerPlus Desktop called the TracerPlus Desktop Publisher Edition. So with that said, TracerPlus 9.1 is available now. If you would like to upgrade to the latest release build, go to TracerPlus.com and click on the Downloads page. And for people running TracerPlus on their Android devices, please go to the Google Play Store and you can upgrade your software that way. Okay. So with that said, I'd like to introduce our new TracerPlus Desktop Publisher Edition of TracerPlus Desktop software. Basically what TracerPlus Desktop Publisher allows you to do, and I'll be walking you through kind of a live demonstration of this in just a little bit, but it allows you to take your TracerPlus desktop projects that you've created on your own and brand them as your own company, with your own logos, with your own websites, and everything around the product is branded as yours. So all of the TracerPlus branding, the splash screen and the about screen, you can pull out the TracerPlus logos and insert your own images as well as websites, support information, and things like that. And the way you do that is you actually deploy the projects that you've created in TracerPlus Desktop as APK files for Android devices. So just like something that you would upload to the Google Play Store that a user would download and install on their device, you would package that as an APK using the TracerPlus Desktop tool. And I'm going to walk through a live demonstration of that process. If you're using Windows Mobile or CE, your TracerPlus Desktop projects can be deployed as auto-installing cab files or EXEs, which can be installed by your users from your PC. So just in the same way that you had installed the older Windows Mobile and Windows CE TracerPlus packages onto a Windows-based device, that can be built as well, and I'll show you how that's all done. Okay. A bunch of the new features in 9.1. One of the biggest ones that we're very excited about is improved live mode performance when you're using TracerPlus Connect with your handheld devices in live mode. In the past, some have said that the performance of submitting records, looking up data, was not the same as what maybe you were familiar with the TracerPlus wireless server product. With the new improvements with TracerPlus Connect Live Mode, those speeds are just as fast, if not faster in many cases, for using the mobile device in that live mode. So that we're very excited about. If you download and upgrade both the handheld client and TracerPlus Connect to the latest version, you will see those improvements with your projects when you're running them in live mode. Another thing we're very excited about as well is our automatic product registration. Now, for those of you who are familiar with the registering of TracerPlus products in the past, you would receive an email that would give you redemption links. Those redemption links you would then click on, fill out a form, and you would be returned a registration code, which you would then enter into the product that you were registering. With the new automatic product registration, you simply take those redemption links and place them on the registration form within the product that you're registering, hit the registration button, and it will auto-register for you. So that includes the TracerPlus mobile client, TracerPlus Desktop Publisher Edition, and as well as TracerPlus Connect. Basically, all of those products, when you go to the Tools registration form, you no longer just enter the registration code, you enter the redemption link that you're emailed upon purchasing the software, and it will register itself over an internet connection. Another very cool feature for TracerPlus 9.1 is the ability to add custom session icons. A lot of you have requested this in the past. You wanted to customize that home screen of TracerPlus where you see the different icons for the forms you can go into and out of. Those you can now select custom icons. So if you had something like a asset tracking or an inventory session, you can add a little custom icon for that form so that the user can see it, and it gives a little bit more customization to the home screen of TracerPlus. But that has also been added for version 9.1. We've added native barcode scanning support for CipherLab Android devices. So some of the CipherLab Android devices that we've reviewed here at TracerPlus now have native barcode scanning support, which means you don't have to rely on the Wedge application on those devices. You can simply pull the trigger when you open up TracerPlus, scan barcodes, do barcode type validation, as well as you can put the scan button on your form if you wanted to do a soft scan, so you don't have to press the physical keys on the sides of the device. Another feature we have is multiple print and messaging reports per session. This basically allows you to print multiple different formats from a single form to potentially different printers or to different email addresses. So in the past, if you were printing from, say, your sale labeling form, you wanted to mark down prices for a product, you could only print to a single printer and a single format. You can now give the user the ability to select and change those formats within the same session, so you can print them in different ways to different printers. Same thing with the messaging reports. You can send different messaging reports, maybe to different email addresses, in different formats per session. We also added support for dragging and dropping of TracerPlus Desktop projects. This basically allows you to take two TracerPlus Desktop projects and merge them into a single project. A lot of you have been requesting this in the past so that you could take maybe two separate projects that you've created and you wanted to merge them into one and deploy all of those sessions to a mobile device in one deployment. You can now do that by just opening up the project and then merging in an additional project. So you can merge those into one and deploy all of the forms to the device. We've also added project revision tracking, so you can now put the revision of the project and deploy that to the handheld, and from the Help About screen you can see that revision displayed. So if you're working with a user or you would like to see what version you're running on your handheld, you can do that as well. And there's many other new features here, and I'm going to actually jump into TracerPlus Desktop at this point to kind of show you how all of these different features work. And then I thought at the end of showing you these features, I would show you how the TracerPlus Desktop Publisher Edition works and give you a live demonstration of that, because that's really cool, and I think you guys are going to enjoy seeing how you can create your own customized branded applications that are configured to what you've designed in TracerPlus Desktop. Okay, so let me hop out of the PowerPoint here, and I'm going to go to TracerPlus Desktop, the TracerPlus Desktop 9.1 version here on the home screen. I'll just jump in here and kind of show you some of the new features within the application and how they work. So I'm going to go ahead and start a new project. Okay, and the first thing you'll see, just as it always has, it creates a default session for you where you have session 1, and you can configure your form as you have in the past with all of the fields of information that you'd like to configure. And the first thing you'll notice that's changed is up on the top left here. You now have the session icon. If you are to click this icon here, you can change the icon that gets deployed with this session. And basically what that does, and I'll bring up my Android device here and open up TracerPlus. Basically what that does is it allows you to customize these icons. So these were the default ones, and I'm actually sharing the screen of an Android device here, which I'm going to deploy an APK to in just a little bit. But you can see these are the icons that are deployed by default from TracerPlus Desktop, and it's the ones you've seen in the past, and you really had no ability to customize those. What you can do now is actually select a different icon from this by clicking this icon here, select the image you'd like, and you would now have that image available on the home screen. So it gives you a nice way of customizing this form, as well as making it easier for end users to know exactly which form they're jumping into, because you could make something more descriptive here for what that form is on the mobile device. Okay, and a lot of new things here we also have in the printing and messaging area. This is where you can actually enable multiple print reports. So in the past, you may have been familiar with only adding one. You can now change print reports and assign these different print reports to different buttons on your form. So if you were to jump over to the form and add a print button on the form, if you wanted to print one format and then actually switch and print to a different format, you could go ahead and change the button action here to print. And then there's a new option for which format you'd like to use. So you can see here I have a CPCL sample report, as well as that receipt report that I just selected from the printing area here. So these are the two that are available. Now again, these can go to completely different printers. So you can have one button on your form that prints to maybe some Bluetooth-enabled printer, and you can have another button on the form that you can click to print to some maybe desktop printer for a different purpose. So you can assign those to the different buttons that you have on your form and actually push those reports to the printer and print different, completely different formats. The same thing with messaging. Messaging allows you now to pick different messaging. that you can then select on your form just in the same way you do with the printing, and print to different message to different email addresses based on the button that has been selected by the end user. Okay. Another new feature, just to kind of go through kind of all the new stuff we have here, we have case insensitive validation within TracerPlus now, so you can match fields and not worry about case. So if you're doing a must match, a user could type in 2 different values and maybe use different uppercase for one field, lowercase for another, and you can still do the validation as long as the characters are the same and not worrying about case. So you can do that within the validation settings here. I will show you, if you go to on the handheld side, you can bring up the registration form. From here in all of the products, you can now enter your redemption link using the redeem code here and click the key button, and you'll see the key button in each of the different products, and that actually will automatically register this software for you. So you can push those or automatically pull your registration code down to the device so that you can not have to worry about going back to the email, filling out a form, and waiting for that project, that registration code to get sent back to you to then enter into the form. So that's in all of the products, and you can go ahead and start using that within TracerPlus 9.1. Okay. Another thing to note, if you wanted to add additional projects to the project you're working on, you can simply drag the TPP file into this tree here, or you can go up to the file add option here, and this will allow you to open another TPP file from another completely separate project and add it into your project here. So you can see now I just added this fire inspection form into my project 1, and I now have 2 projects available within, there are 2 forms available within this project. So that actually has been a very common request from our users, to be able to take those desktop projects and merge them into a single one. Now you can do that by doing either a file add and selecting the project, or you can actually drag it into this tree as well and let it drag and drop that into the tree. Okay, so with that, I thought I'd jump over into the form logic section, because we have added a lot of new features for form logic. And let me go ahead and bring this up. Now, this was a new feature in 9.1, so many of you may not be too familiar with how this works. But this form logic area here allows you to control the layout of your forms and all of the different attributes of your forms dynamically based on user input and then based on when an event occurs. So you basically would add a list of logic items to your form that are going to be driven by an event that occurs on the form. So things like lost focus, after scan, field value changed. For 9.1, we added a lot of new events here for on submit. So upon submitting your data, you can fire additional actions. We also added a sync complete event to your form. So at the end of a sync, maybe with TracerPlus Connect, you can then perform specific actions on your form that would drive users to different areas of the device. We have a live mode disconnected and a live mode connected event. This allows you to do things like maybe make the background screen red if you get this disconnected from live mode. Or do something, maybe show a message to the user notifying them that they just dropped out of live mode. They still can work and collect data, but it's no longer being sent to the server directly. And then you can switch it back with a live mode connected event as well. If you want to then change maybe the background from red back to the original color, you can do that as well. We also have 2 other options here for cached grid insert and cached grid update. Both of those allow you to fire form logic items when you enter data into a cached grid. And this is very useful for things like the RFID scanning. If you're using RFID scanning to scan multiple items, you would be using a cached grid. And this would allow you to drive different events on the form every time a tag is entered into that grid or updated in the grid. So these are useful for RFID scanning as well as many other things. But it allows you to trigger different actions on the form based on that data being inserted into the grid. We also have a number of in our action area that some are new for 9.1. So take a look through all of these here. But we basically gave you more options within the actions that you can do on the form for version 9.1 as well. Okay, so with that, I thought I'd jump over to building an APK and actually showing you the TracerPlus Desktop Publisher Edition. So this is kind of the biggest thing within 9.1. I thought I'd start with a pre-built application that was done in TracerPlus Desktop that may not have been branded. It was just the TracerPlus project, and now we want to go ahead and brand it our own, add our own company logo, add our own website, and things like that. So to start, just to refresh everyone, this is TracerPlus in its normal state. So you have the forms that are all branded as TracerPlus. You can see the PTS logo and things like that. It has the our email address here and different things. Up on the top, it has TracerPlus branding. The home screen, again, this area doesn't have too much branding, but you can now change these icons. So you can see the application is basically what you've designed in TracerPlus Desktop being deployed to a TracerPlus client, loading those settings, and it's kind of in the framework of TracerPlus. So now with the Publishing Edition, we're going to go ahead and change all of that, all of the TracerPlus branding on the outside of the application. So to do that, I'm going to go ahead and open an existing project. Now this could be something, just as an example of what you guys maybe have already created within TracerPlus Desktop. It's an existing project that maybe you created for fire extinguisher inspections. It's fully designed here and configured within TracerPlus Desktop, but if I were to deploy this to the handheld, you would see it on the handheld in this framework, the TracerPlus framework. So I'm going to go ahead now and actually change this to be our Acme Corporation's own fire extinguisher inspection application. So to do that, I'm going to go to the project settings, and the new option you'll see here is the Publish menu item. On this Publish section, this is where you're branding the full application. So you can see there's company information on the top. There's application information down below, like the shortcut, the application name, and then as well as how you're going to deploy this project and to what platform. So I'm going to go ahead and configure some of this stuff. I'm going to say the author is Howie. I'm going to say the company is AcmeCo. Their website is www.acmeco.com. And they have an email address, sales@acmeco.com. Okay, so this is the company information. This you can actually save as defaults so that every project you may later create within TracerPlus Desktop will be branded with your company information. Down below is specific to this project that I'm working on. So the first thing I'm going to do is actually give it a shortcut. Now the shortcut is actually what you click on the handheld. So if I were to go to my Android device and go to the programs list here, TracerPlus 9 this is the shortcut that opens my application, and it's labeled TracerPlus 9. Well, for this new fire extinguisher application that I'm installing on here, I want to make sure that it's not TracerPlus, and maybe it has a different logo here. It doesn't have the T+ icon. So I'm going to name the shortcut maybe Acme Fire. The application name will be Acme Fire Inspection. Okay, and then you have a bunch of options here for the images that are built into the application. So the first one here is the launcher image. This is what appears up at the top of your application. See where it says TracerPlus. So that's the default one if you were not to use TracerPlus Publisher. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to, let me go to my Acme folder. I'm going to change that to this AcmeCo image here. The company logo, this is what would replace the company logo on the Help About screen, as well as the splash screen down here. So I'm going to go ahead and change that to a new Acme. Let's do maybe this small one here, the fire service. The application image, this is what is displayed on the splash screen when you first open the application. So I'm going to pick a larger one here. So this one actually looks and fills up that full screen when you first open the application. And this is a bigger one. The application icon is what gets displayed on the programs list within within the Android programs list application here. Now this, just to mention, is the same as on the Windows side. The Windows side, the interface is obviously different, but you still have things like the shortcut text, the icon that you're selecting for the Start menu in that case when you open it up, as well as the other images are just within the application. So you can do all of these things within the TracerPlus on the Windows platform as well. So for this icon, I'm going to go ahead and select the same JPEG. Here I can select the revision of what this project is. Now this is useful for if you deploy these to your end users out in the field. When you open the application, you will see the revision displayed on the Help About screen so that you know exactly which version they have running of your project and your application on that device. If you check this Save Revision option, basically what this does is every time you change this revision and save the project, it will create a backup, automatic backup of the previous version, so that you're kind of doing versioning of these applications. And if you ever need to go back to, say, version 1 after you release version 2, this will have automatically saved that as a backup file so you can go back to that version. Now the product ID here, this is actually if you want to give the application its own licensing code. If you leave this as it is, it will use the same registration code that a standard TracerPlus license uses. If you change this, then the license will actually change from a TracerPlus license to whatever you enter in this product ID, or it's built against this product ID. So a standard TracerPlus registration code cannot be used to unlock your version of this application here. So I'm going to say it's Acme. I'll just say let's Acme. So basically this can be anything. It's 4 alphanumeric characters long, and it is used to build the registration code. So by changing this, I can no longer register this with a TracerPlus registration code. Okay, and then the last thing you really need to do here is actually build your application. Now I have all my settings completed here, what my form looks like. This is all done just in your standard TracerPlus desktop way. And if I want to now brand this as my AcmeCo product here, I can then just pick how I want to deploy this. Now your options here are the first one, the Android package. It's a .apk file, which is the same thing that's uploaded to the Google Play Store. It's an Android APK file. If you tap on the APK file on your mobile device, it will install the application automatically, similar to how a Windows CE cab file or a Windows Mobile cab file work. So these two are similar to an APK. It's just these would be for a Windows CE or a Windows Mobile-based device. The last option you have here is the Windows Mobile/CE PC installer. And if you were to do this, it creates an exe file that's meant to be run on a Windows PC. And you would have a Windows CE or a Windows Mobile device hooked up to the PC, and it would push the application over to the device. For the demonstration today, I'm going to go ahead and select the Android APK package. And all you really do here is hit Create Installer. Select the location of where you'd like to install this. I'm going to just change this to AcmeCo. Okay, and I'm going to hit Save or Build Application here. This will go through the APK build process, which is basically taking your TracerPlus desktop project and building it into an Android application. Okay, so when that completes, I'm going to go over to my projects folder. Back there. Now this was in the fire extinguisher folder. You can see my AcmeCo APK, and this is basically what you would distribute to your end users. So this would go onto the mobile device, and you could use it to install your APK along with all of your project settings. So what I'm going to do is actually just copy this. Now again, I have an Android device hooked up to my PC here, this Motorola TC70, as well as a Cypher Labs device. But I'll go ahead and paste this onto the Android device that I have connected. Now what I'm going to do is go over to my Android device. I'm going to go to the file browser and scroll down to where I just pasted that. Okay, and you can see here is the AcmeCo APK file. This again is basically what you would distribute on in a Google Play Store. If I were to tap this, here's where you'll start to see the branding. Everything that we entered in desktop now is branding the installer. So you can see Acme Fire Inspection. That was the application name. If I go ahead and hit install, this is going to install the Acme Fire Inspection. It will say it's installed. At the end of the installation, I will go ahead and hit open. And from here, you will see your full branding based on what you have set up within TracerPlus Desktop here. So I have my application image, I have the company logo, as well as all of the branding for the company, Acme Company with acmeco.com. And if I go ahead and actually open my application here, you will see it's back to the home screen of what now is the Acme Fire app as opposed to TracerPlus, and it has your form for the extinguisher inspections built into this Acme app. Even if you go to the Help About screen, again, you see all of the branding here, sales at acmeco.com. It's got the company logo as well as the Acmeco. And the one thing it does say about TracerPlus here is powered by TracerPlus. But you can see it's a fully branded Acme Fire app application. And if you even wanted to take this a little bit further, go ahead and change this to a fire extinguisher icon for the session, and you would no longer have this TP icon that's loaded up on the handheld here. I do have some other samples of this on the device. If I go to the home screen or the product screen, the application screen on this Android device, you can see I had created some in the past, this cabinet counter one, which I used the same icon. But from this, you can see our Acme Fire app is loaded within the project. So it's no longer branded as, hard to scroll with the mouse here. It's no longer branded as TracerPlus 9 with the TracerPlus icon, but it actually is the Acme Fire application available on this this mobile device here. I do also have a Speedy Joe's one here called Package Tracker that I'll go ahead and open up as well. Now this one here, it's a little nicer looking than what I just created, but you can see it's Speedy Joe's, servicing all your package tracking needs. It's branded Speedy Joe's. And if you were to open it, you can see the custom icons that were deployed from TracerPlus Desktop for receiving and delivering packages. So that's a fully configured one that I just wanted to show you how far you could take it to create some of these applications. So one thing to note here is that these are actually two different applications on the device. So you can create multiple products within TracerPlus Desktop, and each one of those will be deployed to the handheld. And every time you install them, if they have a different application name, they will install separately within your application list here on an Android or a Windows-based device. If you were to leave the application name the same and just up the revision number, it will upgrade the product or the application on the device. So you can deploy upgrades in that way. But you can run different applications side by side. So no longer would you need to build all of your TracerPlus Desktop forms into that one install of TracerPlus. You could create them as separate applications on the handheld and deploy them that way to your end users. Okay. So as long as there's no other questions, I appreciate everyone hopping on the call today. We're very excited about version 9.1, so we encourage you all to download it from our website, trial all the new features, and let us know what you think. So with that said, we look forward to seeing you all in the future. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.